Our sixth principle was that knowledge-based AI agents make use of recurring patterns in the problems that they solve. These agents are likely to see similar problems over and over again, and make use of the underlying patterns behind these similar problems to solve them more easily. We talked about this first with learning by recording cases. Here we assumed that we had a library of cases and that the solution to a former case would be the exact solution to a new problem. Ashok's example of tying shoelaces was similar to this. When we tie our shoelaces, we aren't resolving the problem of tying our shoelaces from scratch. Instead, we're just taking the solution from an earlier time when we tied our shoelaces and doing it again. We assume that the solution to the old problem will solve this new similar problem. In case-based reasoning, however, we talked about how the exact solution to an old problem won't always solve new problems. Instead, sometimes we have to adapt an old problem. Here we assumed that there were recurring patterns in the world that would help us solve these new and novel problems based on previous experiences. Even though the new experience is novel, the pattern is similar to a prior experience. Analogical reasoning is very deeply rooted in this principle. Here we explicitly talked about the idea of taking patterns from one problem, abstracting them, and transferring them to a problem in a different domain. Whereas in case-based reasoning, the pattern was within a domain, here the pattern can span different domains. In configuration, we assumed that the underlying design, the underlying plan for a certain device or product, was pretty similar each time, but there were certain variables that had to be defined for an individual instance of that object. In the chair example, the overall design of a chair is a recurring problem. They all have legs, they all have seats, they all have backs, but the individual details of a specific chair might differ. Now, it might be tempting to think that this is actually at odds with the previous principle, that knowledge-based AI agents can solve novel problems. Here we're saying that knowledge-based AI agents solve recurring problems based on recurring patterns. But in fact, these are not mutually exclusive. Knowledge-based AI agents leverage recurring patterns in the world, but they do so in conjunction with other reasoning methods to allow them to also address novel problems.